Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome everyone in today's class for the first intermediate grade. Our textbook is Super Gold 2, and today we will cover the unit What Do You Do? Or What is School Like? And the lesson is Conversation and About You. This lesson will be presented by me, teacher Mazen Al-Harbi, and the sign language by Mr. Salih Al-Ajan. So let's begin. Our objectives for today's lesson, we hope that at the end of this lesson, you will be able to perform a conversation and also answer questions from a conversation and compare different classmates' answer. Before we do this, let's take a quick revision on our last lesson. On our last lesson, we have listening, and we listen to we put yourself in a situation where you're going to meet two new visitors from the airport. Those visitors were called Ted and Seth, and I said that listen to the description of people when they're describing themselves and try to answer the following question. And also we have learned how can we use or how can we stress verbs that ends with es. For example, we said that when we have a verb like this, teach, it is one syllable, but when we add es to it, it becomes two syllables. For example, the first sentence here, Mr. Robinson teaches geography. And the other sentence, Carrie watches TV every night. The third one, the description matches the photo. And the fourth one, Fred uses the library all the time. So we have listened to these examples and how when we add the es for the third singular, the word or the verb that we pronounce it becomes two syllables. So now, I would like you please to open your books on page 14. Open please your books on page 14. Now, have a look at the pictures you can see on page 14 and let me ask you this question. What are the people in the pictures doing? So, have a quick or a thorough look on the pictures you can see on page 14 and tell me what are the people in that page or in these pictures, what are they doing? You will see two students together hanging out, and also you will see a teacher who is teaching a class, maybe a math class, and also you will see two students who are taking an art class and they are trying to paint. So these are the activities from the people that we can see in the pictures on page 14. So I have a question for you. What do you enjoy most about school? What are the things that when you go to school you like the most? Is it, for example, going to the sports club or taking an art class? Or is it an English class where you can listen and practice your English? Is it a math class or a science class maybe, or science club, where you can do different experiments on the subject or the lessons you have just learned? So what exactly do you enjoy more about school? Think of that question and also tell me which class is your favorite. Of course, your favorite class is the class where you enjoy the most. So what is it? And it depends, of course, on also your favorite subject. What is your favorite subject? If you like English, it means that you enjoy listening to English, you enjoy practicing English. If you like math, it means you enjoy reading the numbers, you enjoy doing equations. If you like art, for example, it means that you enjoy painting all the time. And also if you like science, you enjoy doing the experiments. So what do you enjoy most about school? Think of that answer and tell us which class is your favorite, which subject is your favorite. So now I would like you please to close your books as we're going to listen to two friends talking about their favorite subjects and favorite teachers. So would you please close your books and listen to the conversation. We are going to listen to the conversation twice. The first time You only listen without eliciting any information or without trying to answer anything. Just listen. The second time, listen and try to take or to elicit some information about what those students are talking about. And now let's listen.
What's your favorite subject?
I like science. I think it's cool. I love the experiments.
I prefer history. It's fascinating. What are your teachers like this year?
They are all good, but the math teacher is my favorite. He explains things clearly and also makes math fun. How about you?
I like Mr. Houston, the English teacher.
Very well. Now we have listened to the conversation between Hashim and Faris talking about their favorite subjects and their favorite teachers. Now let's listen again and try to know more about the information that they have just said in this conversation.
What's your favorite subject?
I like science. I think it's cool. I love the experiments.
I prefer history. It's fascinating. What are your teachers like this year?
They are all good, but the math teacher is my favorite. He explains things clearly and also makes math fun. How about you?
I like Mr. Houston, the English teacher.
Very well. Now would you please open your books again on page 14. On page 14 to this conversation, we have listened to some of the important words. Like for example, when Faris said, I think science is cool. I think science is cool. And what does Faris means here? Cool is, it means it's very great. It's very impressive. This is what you mean by cool. It's something that he enjoy a lot. This is what Faris means when he says cool. The other word here we have is fascinating. Hashim said, I prefer history. It is fascinating. Fascinating means that it is very interesting. Very interesting. So he likes history. He likes to read about history. This is what Hashim thinks. So now we learn that Faris likes science, his favorite subject, and Hashim like history, his favorite subject. And about the teacher, Faris said that he liked the math teacher. He said it is my favorite. And about Hashim, he liked Mr. Houston, the English teacher. So in this conversation, both Faris and Hashim talk about their favorite subjects and also their favorite teachers. So now, this conversation still needs an end. Let's read the possible endings here we have, and you can choose one of them. So, what does Hashim say about Mr. Houston? Is it, does he say, or what he should say, that his classes are interesting and he organizes great activities? Or number two, he speaks English in class, I learn a lot. Or number three, he doesn't give a lot of homework. So these are the possible endings that you may choose from. So Hashim, there is still need to explain why does he like Mr. Houston, okay? So we have those reasons. You can choose any of them, either number one, number two, or number three. And now we're going to move to the about the conversation. Here we have 4 questions about the conversation. We're going to read those questions and refer back to the conversation, underline and write down the answers. So let's read the question together. The first one, what is Faris's favorite subject and why? The second one, does Hashim like history and why? The third one, does Faris like the math teacher and why? And the fourth one, who is Hashim's favorite teacher? So here we have 4 questions about the conversation. Let's try to answer them together. The first one, what is Faris's favorite subject and why? So we'll go back to the conversation and read what Faris has to say about his favorite subject. We can see here that he said that I like science, and why? Because he thinks it's cool, and he loves the experiments. So here you have the answer of the first question. We go back and we write it down. Faris's favorite subject is science. Faris loves the experiments. This is the first one. Now let's try to answer the second one. Does Hashim like history, and why? So we'll go back to the conversation and see or read what Hashim has to say about his favorite subject. He said here that I prefer history. Why? I think, or it is fascinating. It is very interesting. So we'll go back to the question and we write down this exact answer. Yes, he does. He likes history. He thinks it is fascinating. So here you have the answers of the first two questions that we elicit from the conversation. Now, let us move on to the third question. The third question here we have is, does Faris like the math teacher, and why? So we'll go back to the conversation and see or read what Faris has to say about his math teacher. He said that my math teacher, or the math teacher, is my favorite. Why? He explains things clearly and also makes math fun. So we'll go back again and we write down this exact answer. We will say, because the question started with does, this is a yes or no question. We start our answer with yes. Yes, he does. He does like the math. And why? Because the teacher or the math teacher explains things clearly and also makes math fun. Now we'll move on to the fourth question. The fourth question says, who is Hashim's favorite teacher? Who is Hashim's favorite teacher? So we'll go back to the conversation and we'll try to read who is Hashim's favorite teacher. Hashim's favorite teacher is Mr. Houston, the English teacher. So we'll go back again and we write this one. His favorite teacher is Mr. Houston, the English teacher. And here we have also the answers of question number 3 and question number 4. Now, it is your turn. I would like you to ask your classmate or maybe a family member about their favorite subject and try to compare the answer with other people. And you can ask them those following questions to elicit answer and later on put them in the table that I'm going to show you later. So you can ask friends of your own or a family member or a classmate about this question. The first one, what is your favorite subject? What is your favorite subject? And when the person says what is his favorite subject, you ask him again, why? Why do you like this subject? And you can write whatever reason that your friend or your classmate mentioned. Here I'm going to show you an example. It's better that you have a table like this. This table has 3 important columns. The first one is name, the second one subject, and the third one is why. So here you're going to write down the name of the person you asked and also what is his favorite subject and why did he choose it. So I did this part, I did my turn, and I asked friends of mine. I asked him 2 friends of mine. I asked them about it. The first one, his name is Ahmed. He said that his favorite subject is English because he thinks it is interesting. And when I say how it is interesting, he said that I can practice English, I can listen to try to speak different language. It is very interesting to learn English. I also asked another friend of mine, his name is Ali, and I asked him, what is your favorite subject? He said that my favorite subject is art, and I asked him again, why? Why is your favorite subject is art? He said that he likes painting. So my friend Ali likes to paint a lot, likes to use different colors, like to use to paint different drawings. So this is why he likes painting. This is why he likes art classes, and he said he never missed one. So you can have similar answers like this if you ask your friends or your classmate or family member the same question I have just showed you. So just ask them, what is your favorite subject? And when they say, what is it? Ask them again, why? And you can have a table like this. You will see a very interesting answers, and you can compare it with your own answers. And now we are going to move to the last part of our lesson, which is a very, very interesting one. Those questions now are about you. For example, here we have 4 questions. All of them are about you. You need to think about them and find the answer that you're looking for. For example, the first one, do you have lots of homework? In your school, in all the subjects, do you have lots of homework or not? And what do you think about homework? Is it good to have too many homeworks, or it's not a good thing? And what do you like the most? If you are doing a homework handwriting, or if you like to send it as in electronic form. So what is the best way that you like to do your homework? And also I would like ask you or add another question, how many hours do you spend a day in doing your homework? You can think of that question also with this one. So does your school or do you have a lot of homework? This is the first one. Now, let's move to the second one. What is your school schedule like? So now we're going to talk about school schedule. And you remember that the last lesson we talked about school schedule when I showed you Ahmed's schedule. And we can see the periods or classes, and we can see the different subjects with different teachers, and also all the week. So what is your schedule like? Do you have 5 classes a day, or 6 classes a day, or 7 classes? How many English classes do you have? Or how many math classes do you have? So you can think of them, and you can write down the names of the teacher who teach you all these, or the teachers who teach you all these different subjects. So you can think of their names and write them down. Also, who is your best friend at school? So at school, at your class, who is your best friend? Who is the friend or the classmate that you like to hang out with in the break time, you like to answer with, you like to do your homework with? So who is your best friend? And do you contact, for example, your friend outside of school, ask him about questions, ask him about homeworks you may not understand? So just think of that friend that you can do all of these activities with. And the fourth one, what does he or she look like? So we have also learned that how can we describe people? And you can describe him by saying the color of his hair maybe, the type of clothes that he wears, also whether if he is tall or short, whether if he is thin or fat. So a lot of things you can say about your friends. And remember that here in this question, we're not looking for answers like he is kind, he is friendly, because the question says, what does he look like, and not what does he like. So these are very important questions. Think of them, and they are all about you. You will see a fascinating answer when you think of those questions. And now we have reached the end of our lesson. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.